Welcome everybody, this is the Comeback channel. Before we get started, support the channel. Punch that like button, subscribe. If you're interested in fitness, VR combat, or just plain old entertainment. Let's go. So if you're, interested in analysis, that's what I'm going to go into right now. So let's get on to the first round. Okay, one thing that I'm proud of that I was doing in the first round that I maybe didn't continue throughout the fight, but it's a punch that I'm starting to get a huge affinity for. It's called the chopping cross. I don't know if everyone calls it a chopping cross, but a particular YouTuber that I watch that gives fight tips and stuff like that for boxing kind of described the difference between like a regular cross, an overhand right, and this thing he called a chopping cross, which is where instead of just snapping into your opponent and bringing your punch right back, this one you kind of drive downward through your opponent, so it's a harder, more forceful cross. I was trying to set that up right here. As you can see, I set it up by going to the body pretty consistently. All right, so when he steps in, I can see his foot step forward, his lead foot, and then I launch into my cross. So as you can see, it kind of starts right where a normal cross would start, close to your body. You're turning your hips, all the power is coming from the torque of your hips. And I make contact on the jaw and my fist comes down. It doesn't snap back like a normal jab, or not a jab, like a normal cross. And that delivers a little more power into the target, and you can see it snaps his head right back and completely interrupts his attack. And it's really good to follow up with that hook to the body. And that was two very powerful punches in a succession right there. All right, this is another punch that I think really set the tone for the first round and really led to my knockdown, is this enormous uppercut to the body. Like, he was moving in, trying to close the distance, and I'm kind of being a little bit elusive back there. And then as he gets close enough, I just rip in this enormous body shot, and you can see that he just reels over. So I'm already putting my weight into my lead foot. Boom, as soon as he throws his jab, crack him in the body. He can't even really aim, but he's got his hand on his ribs, the whole time. Here I get a very good hook on him that really snaps his head around. I think it's one of the first punches in the fight where I get to like really snap his head. These have an effect. It may not knock them down, but it has an effect on their cognitive ability. And I think it does in the game as well. So he throws this jab. I slip the jab and come right over with an enormous hook right on the chin. And as you can see, the hit marker is actually a darker orange, which means it's pretty high power. I wish I could have landed that body shot. I was being a little bit lazy there, but that would have really set things up a little bit better. The next shot that I really liked in the first round was this cross to the body. So basically, I'm waiting to slip the jab, and I'm thinking I'm going to change levels and just strike him directly in the ribs. And as you can see, as he throws that jab, I'm going downstairs, and bam, I hit him right in the ribs. And you can see the effect. It's a pretty huge effect on him. Shots like that, I think, really characterize the first round and set up the end of that round. All right, here was a really good hook to the head. from like a peekaboo type position. I'm waiting for him to do something, and once he shows a tell, which is a huge telegraph, I block his body shot and I go straight to the head with a lead hook, like a check hook, and you can see the cloud that came out was really dark orange, so he took a lot of damage off of that. That's a good example there of combining the overhand right or the hook to the head with a massive hook to the body, and I was like doubling up on those quite often in the fight. It really accumulates the damage, and both of them are power shots, so it breaks them down pretty effectively. So the way I was kind of doing that is I would start off by probing the body with like these jabs to the body. So tap him on the stomach, you know, and then as he comes in, look at his head is completely open. So he left his head open, so I just came over the top with a strong hook, and then as he's recoiling from that hook, the real hit is the shot to the body. So most of the power is in the shot to the body. So it's a real, I kind of learned it from Canelo, watching his footage. He really doubles up the hook to the head and then a shot to the body. And he puts a lot of power into that shot to the body. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Bam! That was just a really accurate cross. Hit him right on the chin, and it just knocked him out. And he'd already taken a lot of damage, so, and all of that was because of the damage to the body previously had him just really defending his body and just standing there holding his ribs. So it was pretty easy to just take out the chin. Boom. So the next round was round 2, which was not such a good round for me. And I don't know if it's really because, you know, I wasn't doing that well, but it was like he was just on a mission to kill me. So I think what it was I would get kind of discouraged by his pressure. It kind of makes me lose faith in my tactics, which is to keep moving. So then I get stationary. And whenever I got stationary, I think is when I started to take the big shots and actually get in trouble. So this is one of the big shots that he got on me here. Boom. So I'm like trying to circle out of here, but it's like my feet are in mud a little bit. I'm not really doing much to move my head or change levels. So he just kind of catches me around my guard. So I have my guard up, but he just loops around my guard and tags me on the side of my head. So this is my Peekaboo Gazelle shot. Get him a little confused by changing levels there, and as you can see, the feint caused him to guard up and step backwards. So I do it again, and he continues to think I'm going for the body, and then I just come over the top, crack him. That was pretty well executed, I would say. Might not work on more seasoned or experienced fighters because I really telegraphed all of it, but I'm glad that I could pull it off in this fight. I'll probably mature and improve that shot, but it worked pretty well on Ugly Joe. So this is where Ugly Joe, I think, got me in trouble here. Alright, so he's pressing me, Bam! See, I think what happened here is he kind of played me a little bit. Either I was throwing lazy punches or he actually had some skill involved here. Basically, I'm throwing my cross. It doesn't land. It's like he blocks it. And I think I was doing it just to set up the body shot to get him to raise his guard. But you see what happens here? He doesn't. So whatever I did there didn't actually cause him to raise his guard and open up his body at all. And as soon as I'm throwing the body shot, he's countering me with this huge right hook. And because I tend to lean into my body shot and step to the left on it, especially when I'm trying to get off the ropes or get out of the corner, which was where I was, he throws a hook right into my momentum and catches me. So that really blinded me right there. And I missed my body shot pretty much. So he really timed that well. And then as I'm standing here trying to recollect myself, he doesn't give me any time. I'm obviously not oriented. Bam. So he really finished me well. I'm pretty impressed with that execution by Ugly Joe. Like, this was some pretty high IQ if it really was him. It's like kind of like what Canelo does to his opponent. He has his guard up, but then he kind of deflects your punch off his guard and anticipates that you're going to follow up with something, and then he evades it and really makes you pay for it. So this is an example right here. Boom. Really read my whole game plan. And it's like I always do that. I go with my right and then I step to the left and throw like a body shot or a check hook or something. Instead of getting hit with it this time, he hits me. And then he comes in hard and he changes levels. So I'm thinking that this is probably going to be a shot to my body or something. I don't know. So I kind of just curl up and I lean to the right, which leans directly into his punch, and it just destroys me. So I'm down. This was a pretty cool instance here when he's like putting all this pressure on me in the second round. He's trying to kill me here. And he punches right into my guard. And then as soon as he's trying to throw his other one with his right hand, I sneak a punch right across his face. And you can see the blood just squirt out. Cut him. That was pretty cool. Catch with my right hand, turn my left hand into a counter jab, and just cut him right across his nose. This is where I fell into another trap. Catching me clean with a jab right there. I get him good at the body shot, but it did not hurt him for whatever reason. And then I start trying to throw a hook, and it's like it gets deflected off his glove. You can see it like hit his glove right there. And his punch is not affected at all and still comes forward and knocks me off of my feet. And I'm down again. That's how dangerous he is. If you're standing in front of him, and I think that's what my mistake is. Like, I get into these exchanges when he's headhunting. You got to know the difference. When there's killer instinct in Joe's eyes, you need to just run and pick him apart and wait for it to subside. Don't frickin' stand in front of him. And take those punches. So even though he was on his onslaught, this is where I actually hurt him with a really strong uppercut. Boom! You can see the red, orange smoke coming off of that. Huge shot. Really stunned him. And when he backs up and just stands there like that, he's hurt. That rarely happens for Ugly Joe. So I just come up again with a fake uppercut and then just bring a hook over the top. Basically, you just throw a tap uppercut right there and then come over with a hook. So it gets them to raise their guard, and then the sides of their head are open. You can sneak a hook on the side. But he was already hurt, so I didn't even have to hit him that hard. So this is another point in the second round where I put a lot of pressure on him and I start hitting him with heavy bombs. So bam, he blocks that one. That would have really hurt. And you can see it knocks him to the side even. It was so hard. And he tries to fire back. I catch that and follow up with a jab, counter him right back. And then I come with a freaking heavy shot to the body again. He blocks it, but you can see I'm out for blood. Like, I'm turning into those shots. Massive hook that cuts him and does tons of damage. Just changing position. I get a good jab. So I'm combining power shots now and really changing up my approach, and it's confusing him. So I put a pretty stout jab on the body, but as soon as it lands, I'm already coming with a lead, with a dominant hand hook, a right hand, right over the top. and that just turns his head. Like, you can see the damage on that one. So he has to back up now because you can tell he's hurt, but I'm not done. So I just keep coming with the combinations, and that's that classic uppercut to the hook, and he falls for it. I actually went with a cross on that one, so it's an uppercut to a cross. I go to the body again. He leaves his body open. I go to the head, putting a lot of combinations together here, and it leads to a knockdown. So round 3, I come out for blood. This is another example of me just putting punches together pretty well. Go to the body there. I could have really hurt him if I had gone to the head right after that, because he was wide open. Look at that. Just one hook or an uppercut. I might have got my knockout right there. So I start throwing power shots and combinations here. A 1-2 to the upstairs has him in a lot of trouble. Like, he's really backing up there. So I'm doubling up on the same hands, which is kind of confusing for your opponent. Well, actually, right there I didn't. That was just a 1-2. That was actually my rear punt, my rear cross to the body. Boom. And then straight upstairs. He was not expecting that. And then I keep following, patterning him with the jab. So upstairs, downstairs. Keep him off balance. And bam, bam. That was a good combo right there. So I come with a nice heavy hook that sends him right into my body shot. So he's like falling over into my left hook to the body, which cracks him even harder, and you can see the look on his face like he's in dire straits right now. He's hurt. So the thing he's not expecting is for me to come with the same left that just hit him in the body. He's expecting the right hand. He's not expecting anything from the left again, and that same left comes across and knocks him out. I like that technique. It's another thing that I follow from Canelo, is how he doubles up on the same hand, especially with those hooks. So from one step to the next, I go right into the next hook. He's expecting me to get my balance, but instead I bounce off my rear foot into another hook, catches him off guard. Knockdown. Pretty impressed with that execution. So here's an example of just the amount of damage that Joe can take in a sitting. Bam! That was a really nice... Was it a chopping cross that he did there? Yeah. It might be a overhand right. Yep. Overhand right catches him really clean, right over the top of his jab. And of course, best thing to follow up an overhand right with is a shovel hook or a looping hook to the body. Boom! That one got right under his freaking elbow into his rib cage. And it's almost like the red is almost like instantaneously right there. Like, I think I can hear the ribs cracking on that one. Those are two extremely hard punches that landed. This overhand right could be heard in the back of the building. Boom! Turn his head right around and bam! Right up under his armpit. Cracked him with those two. Come back with a lead cross, just snaps his head back. Power shots to the body, one after the other. And the ref gets in the way, so you can't see half of the damage I'm doing here, but I pretty much lit him up there. Strong hook, shovel hook to the body. I've been practicing that a lot, those fast hooks to the body. Just another, I don't know if you know that I'm a Canelo fan by how much I talk about him, but that's his trademark right there, where he just winds up and puts his arm low and you don't know whether it's going to the head or to the body. And then he just turns that sucker right into you. It could be your head or it could be your body. Either one, it freaking hurts. So it's a really fast snapping of a punch that normally takes a bit of a wind up, but you know, you're able to execute it pretty quickly if you do the right technique. Look at that. 2 extremely hard shots. Because he leaves himself open as soon as you hit his body. So I just keep doubling up. Boom. So this time I go with my power shot, right hand to the same kind of hook. Load it up, and he doesn't know where it's going. Crack him on the side, and then I bring the other one over the top. Knock the sweat off him. And then the same thing. But I switch it up, go to a cross instead. And then I go from a jab to a hook. Uppercut. Straight cross. Hook. He's swinging for the rafters and missing now. But he's in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. So I'm like, I don't know how he survived all that. But he hits me with one punch and I'm like, you know, I gotta back off because it's such a powerful punch. Round 4, there's like some pretty good boxing on Ugly Joe's part. A very weird, lazy attack here. I think that this is mostly my fault, but extremely telegraphed. So I lean to my right and my entire body is showing that I'm going to throw a body shot. Everything about it. So Ugly Joe is watching this and it's like he's inviting me to try to throw a hook at his head or something. And as I'm committed, he immediately launches into a strong cross into my head. Boom! I'm surprised I wasn't knocked out. Like, I honestly believe that anyone who gets caught like that should be knocked the F out. Okay? Look at that. Somehow I completely miss my hook. Like, he just teleports out of the way of my hook to the body and he just punches straight through my head. And I'm immediately backing off, and then he catches me in the body after that as well. So he punished me there. I'm not gonna lie, that was like a scary moment. So here we have Joe also doing some good counters here. He's also taking damage, but he's got some good counters here. Boom, boom. 2 to the body. Like, he's reading how I'm moving here, and it's like, as soon as I lean to one side, he gives me one on that side. Boom. And then, boom. Cross to the body. I definitely felt those. So right here, I just want to talk about some of the crosses I was throwing. I think those were a pretty big weapon in my fight against Ugly Joe, and I'm going to continue to harness those and perfect them. So here I'm just like getting really good crosses on him. Boom! Right over the top of his jab. Snaps his head back. It puts him on notice. He steps back, abandons everything he was planning to do. Cross to the body. He tries to counter. Misses. And I punish him for missing right on the chin. So the body shot brings his hands down, and I'm already planning to hit him again, and then boom, you can see that's right over the chin. Snaps his head back again. And then I feint like a hook to the body. Now his head is wide open. I come with a strong overhand right. Boom. He took a lot of damage on that side of his face. I'm surprised he didn't change it up at some point. Like, wow, this guy's going for the cross, the overhand right. So I need to either change my angle or get the hell out of here. No. Ugly Joe's like, I can take it. I could take it. You know? And he can. He keeps getting up. So what are you going to say? So my next favorite punch was right here. Right around here. This is where I snuck in this extremely skillful uppercut, you know, by my standards. Let me know in the comments if you agree. But basically, this uppercut just made my day. And it led to a knockdown, which is always great. But it's not that one. So that one hurt him pretty good. But it was a counter uppercut right here. I'm already seeing him kind of leaning in like he's going to do something. And I keep the uppercut really close to my chest. You can see my fist is like right on my chest, pretty close to my body. And I just sneak it right in there. As he's trying to formulate some kind of hook, I'm thinking maybe it's a left hook or something. I don't really care. I just want to beat him to the punch. And I get this uppercut in there. And it contacts him just right when he's throwing his punch. Alright, so he fakes the left hook and decides to throw like a right hook or something like that. But the moment he's throwing it, you can see in the feed on the left that my glove is directly on his chin. And then on the main screen, you can see it just really stuffs in there. You know what I mean? It's not like one of those extremely powerful uppercuts that just snap his head back. It's like one of those where his momentum does all the damage. Like he put his body and his head into a real short, stout uppercut, and I didn't have to put a lot of power on it. I just turned my hips a little bit and let him do most of the work, and it just rocked him. Look at it. His like head is folded over my glove, and he ate the whole thing. It's just amazing. I love getting a punch like that. A nice counter uppercut, and as you can see, he's backing the hell off. He's like, whoa, I'm dizzy. I am very, very dizzy. And as he, you know, he's got no brain cells left at that point. He's just staring at me with his hands completely open. So I just run up in him with a rear uppercut, and he eats it. Like a Subway sandwich, he just consumes the whole thing and gets a knockdown. I like to see that punch in fast motion though, because it looks good in slow motion, and at the same time it looks good in fast motion. But it's so easy to miss it. But it's like, you know, when you're watching a good boxing match and you got someone like Floyd Mayweather, or, you know, Canelo, or Pacquiao, like when they land those really skillful counter punches and you see the sweat fly, but you can't really tell if the guy was hit or not, and then he starts acting funny afterwards. It's kind of like this. Boom! Oh, what happened there? Oh, he doesn't know what's going on. Alright, so right here I think I'm throwing like a ton of power shots here, and he's not doing anything to defend himself. Snap his head back with a huge hook, body shot, he's keeling over. Trying to get his hands down, and as soon as they come down, I'm loading up on the head. Boom. And that's how I get the knockdown. So that's all the highlights I want to go over in the fight. And, you know, it was a good experience. The 3 weeks, it was real. I literally was out of shape. I had not been working out the entire year. I decided, you know, what if I got in shape? How would I do in this game? Would I actually lose to this guy anymore? And it turns out that I became something new. And that's what this whole channel is about. It's about coming back, which is basically reinventing yourself. You don't come back as the same person. What the hell's the point in that? You come back as something new that's going to get the job done, and that's what I did. So kudos to me, and definitely show your support if you enjoy this content. Hit the like button and definitely leave what you think in the comments below. And have a good one. God bless.